Hi, my name is Sarah and this is my service dog Bailey, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Kong Comfort Traffic Leash. And I have it pulled up right here on PetSmart's website right now, and it looks like this is $20 right now. So I have been using this leash for about a year and a half now. I did originally purchase it in the Bungee version, where it has a bungee cord at the end, and I did not like that, so I switched it out for this one. Petco has a really good return policy, by the way, and I really love it. I have been using it for a year and a half, so I've gotten a good amount of time to get used to it and learn all its, benefits and all of its flaws. So one of the things I really like is this is a really secure clip, and this right here for the temporary tie out, it is very secure. If you do have limited hand mobility or strength, it might be a little bit difficult, because sometimes when it's cold outside and my hands don't want to work, I do struggle with this. And so if that's something that you have trouble with, it might be something to consider if you're looking at this leash. My favorite part is that the traffic handle is padded. The traffic handle is at the very bottom of the leash, and so it's right near the clasp, and so you have more control over your dog. She heels perfectly, so I generally will use this as if we're in a really crowded area, it just gives me peace of mind, or if I need some grounding while we're walking, it's nice to have this so I can feel her right there. The fact that it's padded is really nice. If you have a dog that pulls, it is a lifesaver to be able to have a padded handle like this, especially on the traffic lead. That way it's closer and you have more control, and it's comfortable. The material is pretty good. It withstands quite a lot. Like I said, I've had this for a year and a half. Something that I wish it had more of is reflective material throughout. I do think it said online that it was supposed to have a little bit of reflective material, but I don't really see that a whole lot in mine when I'm out at night. So I got these strips that I think they were made for like bikers gear or something, but they're like reflective strips that I added on. They're just stickers, and they stick on pretty well. I use this as an over-the-shoulder leash, so I normally have it down like this. I have it across my waist, across my shoulder, and it goes down to my left because that's where she heels, on the left. I do think it's pretty comfortable. Something that I wish is that it does have a padded piece, because this can be adjusted so that it is just a handle. Mine has been stuck in the same position for so long that it doesn't want to adjust. But it can just have this as a handle at the end, and it becomes a 6-foot lead. And this is padded for that purpose. I wish it was more padded, because then my shoulder would be padded on the off the shoulder. It's not that she pulls or anything, but it is just a comfort thing. When I have my backpack and then I have this, sometimes it leaves a welt. But that's more of how heavy my backpack is than the leash itself. The hardware is pretty strong. The leash overall is strong. We have had moments when she was in the earlier stages of her training when she was pulling, or she would see a squirrel and would, want to go for it, and so it is really strong. And the fact that it has a traffic lead, it means that if your dog does potentially have an issue with squirrels, or you're working on some leash corrections, this gives you a really good opportunity to do those really good quick leash corrections, and they're comfortable for you too. This can also be adjusted to go around your waist. I just prefer the over the shoulder because I feel like it's more secure than around my waist. And I also like that it gives kind of less room for her to lead or fall a little bit behind if we're just on a normal pet walk, rather than heeling in public access. It does give me more control over her then. Because it has this buckle, it can be used as a temporary tie out. So if you need to go somewhere and, you know, leave your dog just tied to a tree outside of a coffee shop for a second, because it's a pet, or they're not ready for that public access, or you're working on a stay, you can have some consistency keeping them, you know, tied up for short periods of time. It does say on the packaging and online that this is not meant for long-term tie-out. This is a very like short-term, temporary, like emergency tie-out kind of thing if you don't have anything else. I did mention that originally I had the Bungee version, and I didn't like that, and the main reasons behind that is because I feel like this gives me better communication with her. It's easier for her to tell where the end of the leash is, because she doesn't feel like if she just pulls hard enough, she'll get more room. It's, oh, this is the end of the leash. I don't have any more room than this. So I really like that. With the Bungee, it also, it was hard for me to know exactly how long the leash was, because while the Bungee was totally scrunched up, it's 6 foot, but if it was, you know, all the way stretched out, it was definitely much longer than 6 foot. It could have even been like closer to 10 foot, or at least that's what it felt like. So it just gives me better control to not have that Bungee option, but I do know that some people prefer that, especially for hiking. And as long as your dog is well trained on it, I don't see how it would be an issue, but I like having more control. Something else I would like to mention is that I have seen a version of Kong leashes that have like a pocket like attached to it, or built into it. I wish this leash had that option, but it doesn't. I think the version that does have that is either just the traffic lead, it's like a 3 foot, or it doesn't have like the extra padding. I don't remember what it was. Kong, if you're watching this video and you want to create a version of this with more reflective stitching and a little pocket and some more padding for the shoulder, that would be great. Those are my only complaints and recommendations. Oh, something else that I would like to mention is that this hardware spins, so it's harder for the dog to get tangled up. I do find that, you know, even if she does get tangled up, when I have it off the shoulder, I have pretty good control to just be like, you know, have her step over wherever she's stuck and just lift her paw and it fixes itself. So that's another benefit to having just a shorter lead in general. You're not going to get them tangled up all the way over all 4 legs and up and around again. So overall, I would recommend this lead to anyone struggling with a pulling dog, because it does have this padded handle, and at least I feel like having the over the shoulder while I'm holding this gives me some extra hold, and it gives me extra control over my dog while still having that 6 foot, if we want to do some fun just sniffing around exploration time, and keep her on leash, especially in the beginning stages of her training when she did struggle with heeling a little bit. If for a service dog team, I would say I also recommend this. I do know that this typical leash nylon material isn't always the most comfortable, so the padding is really nice. The over the shoulder is adjustable, and it can switch to being a normal 6 foot and around the waist, and over the shoulder a tie out. It's pretty versatile, and you can adjust it as needed. So I find it very useful, and it's pretty inexpensive, only $20, and to find just $20 leash that has the padding and it's as adjustable as you want it to be, I think that's pretty good, especially with the Kong quality, their brand that I typically trust. This leash also comes in red and purple, but we got the gray because I like how neutral it is. It gets dirty a little bit if it gets in mud, but it's pretty easy to clean, but the color does dull after a while, like any leash. We use this every day as our working lead, and also we take it on hikes, and so it has gotten quite muddy and very dirty before, but it's still clean enough and it looks good enough for us to use daily as her working lead. Overall, I really like this. This is probably the lead that we're going to continue to use for the next year or so. So yeah, that is our review for the Kong Comfort Traffic Leash. It works well as both a pet leash and as a working leash. So with that, we'll say thank you for watching our video. Bailey and I truly appreciate your support. If you have any ideas for future videos, please put it in the comments down below, and tune in next time for our next video. Thanks, bye.